Hello, everyone, and welcome to another video of vinyl finds of all kinds, which means no Beatles in this. I just did a Beatles finds video. If you check the last one out that I did, I'm going to tell you there's a lot of rare items in there, a lot of good items. I'm very, very happy with how much I got. One of my best for that. And the same thing is going to hold true for this. I have a lot of really good finds and a lot of oldies in here, a lot of originals. I think you'll enjoy this if you're interested in different kinds of artists here. All right. Elvis Presley, I'm going to start off with now. This is a really beautiful copy of By Request. This plays at 33 and a third, as you can see. Uh, and I had this already, but not in this kind of condition. I really like this stuff that's on here. I love it's now all of it, that you have here. Are You Lonesome Tonight, Flaming Star, Summer Kisses, Winter Tears, It's Now or Never. Really good. The record that I had of this already, the copy that I had, unfortunately had a crack in the beginning. So you had to kind of watch that when you played it, make sure that it wasn't cracked at the beginning. It didn't affect play, luckily, but it was at the beginning of the grooves when you start the record. So there's a nice Elvis item. Really, really good. Okay, now, folks, I really wish I could have showed this a couple of days ago. Was the sad, I don't want to say anniversary, marking the date, of February 3rd, where we lost Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper in that horrible, horrible plane crash. And I was able to pick this up. This is really nice. Buddy Holly on coral. Uh, Decent shape. I once had this on a promo, folks, and I don't have it anymore. Unfortunately, there's a seam split that goes down over here. I'm sorry, there it is. A little bit, but once you put it in the outer sleeve, it's okay. You know, I was able to get this for a low, kind of lowish price because even though it's sought after and collectible, I mean it's not in perfect shape. Although the label is, I mean that's really a nice label. I love the way these records are made. These old records are so solid. There's no bending or anything. Uh, if you were to look at the record, I don't think it shows here, but I mean you can see how clean it looks. But I cleaned it up and it made it nicer. But you might see some visual marks on it, but yet when you play it, you don't hear it. I played the whole album, and it sounded so great. These old records are really well made, and yeah, I like Buddy Holly. I really do, and I know my friend Matthew Street is a big fan of Buddy's. Okay, also this Buddy Holly record, Buddy Holly Showcase. And this was a record that when I saw it, all this white was filthy. I mean, even on his face, it was filthy. I used glass wax. I don't know if you can find that. I did a video on it. Look it up. Cleaning records with glass wax. I don't know if they still make that or not, but look at. I got it all off. Really, only recommended for white covers. And there's the coral label. I don't recommend that glass wax thing for just anything. Look at this, Del Shannon, huh? On the Big Top Records, in really good shape. Also, sometimes I like to take them out of the outer plastic because it doesn't always do justice to how great these really look. Otherwise, I mean, this is really in good shape. Um, well, the black Big Top label there, okay, and this record is in great shape with like no spindle wear, and the record looks practically unused. So a Del Shannon record. What could be better than a Del Shannon record, right? I'll tell you what. Can you say another Del Shannon record? Little Town Flirt. And hats off to Larry is also on this. And once again, we've got the Big Top label, the black label. Um, let's keep it going with the oldies guys. All right. Okay. I love this guy. I mean, who doesn't if you're a rock and roll fan, right? More Chuck Berry. It's got kind of a sticker there. I'm afraid to I could take that off, with Goo Gone or lighter fluid. It helps, or even a hair dryer. But for now, we'll leave it on. And this is on chess. And again, you gotta love this. Sounds great. Also, I played this too. Wow, really, really good. I mean, came across some good finds here, folks. Sometimes you get them all together. Sometimes you get a drought where there's like nothing. Sometimes a collection comes in if you're at the right place at the right time. Okay, also here we have Bill Haley and the Comets. This is a later release. It says here right on the back, 1960, from Warner Brothers Records. It does have a lot of his 50s biggies, as you can see there. Bill Haley is really overlooked, but in so many ways, he was like the starter of rock and roll in many, many ways. A lot of people don't really think much of him because, he was an older guy and so forth. But you have stuff on here like Kansas City, Love Letters in the Sand, Shake, Rattle, and Roll, I'm in Love Again, Staggerly, Rock Around the Clock. Anybody ever hear of that one? Rock Around the Clock, Blue Suede Shoes, Blueberry Hill, a whole lot of shaking going on. A lot of 50s songs that were made popular by like Fats Domino and Lloyd Price here and stuff. But there's also a song, Crazy Man Crazy. And I don't know if other people would agree, but from what I've found out on my research, I'm thinking that that could be the first rock and roll song, Crazy Man Crazy. A lot of people think it could be That's All Right Mama. What do you think? This is definitely a topic of interest, I think, if you want to discuss that. But Crazy Man Crazy could be the start of rock and roll. I know we all attribute it to Elvis Presley, but I wonder. Okay, here's an interesting record that I picked up here. Buddy Knox, his big hit was Party Doll, and I love that song, Party Doll. This was an affordable price, so I decided to go for it. And you can see some of the songs that are included on there. This is on the Roulette label. I think a first press. I'm not an expert, but I think. Okay, so that's a lot of good finds from a lot of the oldies performers, as they call them now, and they've been calling them that for some time, I think. Okay, Dusty Springfield, love Dusty. Look of Love on the Phillips label. Okay, here's an album that I picked up. I have this already, but I picked it up because it was a promo. The Ozark Mountain Daredevils, and you can see it's got the hole in there, which often indicates a promo edition. And on the back, again, you see that not for sale, promotional record. This is called It'll Shine When It Shines. But the reason I love I don't know much by the Ozark Mountain Daredevils. This is an album I'm going to have to play if I ever do my first time spins again. But I love this song, Jackie Blue. I mean, Jackie Blue is one of my all-time favorite songs of any era, and especially for the 1970s. And there it is listed here. It's a white label promo on A&M Records. And you could also see, if you see the track gap there, the third one maybe. It's longer than the single. We all know the song, those of us who grew up in the 70s, but it's actually a little longer, which is the appeal of this. And when I bought this album the first time, I wasn't aware that it was a longer version, So it was kind of a pleasant surprise. And good thing, as I'm trying to put this back, there's also an inner booklet there showing everybody. Alrighty. Next up, we have one of my favorite rock artists of all time. We get into the 70s and the 80s mainly. Joan Jett. And the reason I picked this Bad Reputation up was because, this particular collection that was at a store I went to had a lot of these radio copies, WYSP, and there's the hype on there. You Don't Own Me, Bad Reputation, Wooly Bully. And it's a demonstration record, not for sale. There's not really much point. There's not like a white label promo here, so not much point in showing the following records, all of them on the label. I'm going to show you a few Joan Jett records, but it is interesting because it does say on there, if I can possibly spotlight it, on the stereo it says, not for sale on there. So that's the promotional look on there. It's not a white label, but it'd be nice if it was a white label, because I like the white label promos. Alright, so following along those lines, we have also this one here, Glorious Results of a Misspent Youth, from 1984, with the hype on there, and also for promotion only, MCA Records. Now the next one by Joan Jett is along these lines, but something a little more special for those of us who are collectors. This is the 1983 record called simply Album. I hate that title. I really do. You couldn't think of anything else. But anyway, it's also a gold stamp. But what I like about this one is it actually has the logo there and the title Album, in the font style of the record. So that's what I like about that. Okay, now here's the inspiration for Joan Jett. I think Joan Jett, as much as I love her, I think she swiped a lot from this artist, and it's none other than Suzi Quatro. And you know her as Leather Tuscadero. She really came before Joan Jett, Leather Tuscadero on the Happy Days TV series. This is another album that I had already, but you got it, another promotion copy. And this is really in great shape, this album. The one I have already is not bad at all. I usually don't buy albums in really horrible condition or rough condition unless they're so rare that that's the only way you can get them. This is an upgrade, so to speak. Pat Benatar, Precious Time, the Precious Time album in the shrink, and upgrade in the sense that it's got that really cool hype sticker on there. Here's another Pat Benatar album. This is interesting because this is an upgrade, but not because of the hype sticker, which I already had this particular album, Get Nervous, with the shrink and the hype, but there's a card that was included in here, and I thought that was interesting if I could get my hands on it. I might not be able to because it's like in the shrink wrap. Let's see if I can get it out of there. Give me a second, folks. It's kind of wedged in there. Alright, well, it's a certificate of authenticity. This certificate assures you of the authenticity and high quality of this recording. And you could send this back if you're not. Please place the stamp. And there it is, Pat Benatar / Get Nervous, Los Angeles, California. I don't know what's on the other side of this. In order to get that, I might have to tear the shrink off, and I'm not really anxious to do that. I'd like to see what's on the flip side of that, honestly. But since I already have this with the shrink and the hype sticker, I could conceivably open it and check it out. But I don't think I'm going to go that far with it. Let's leave it like that for the time being. That's an interesting collectible. Pat Benatar is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Bullshit. Put her in there. And here's somebody else who's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and should also be in there. A lot of people scoff, but not really. And look at the name of the album. Connie Francis, Rock and Roll Million Sellers. Rock and Roll. Yes, in the early days she had some rock and roll hits, and she's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But this is an upgrade because it's in the shrink, and even if I was to pull this shrink off because it's kind of ripped, not perfect, it's in really beautiful shape. And that's it for my vinyl finds of all kinds this time. Thank you everybody for watching. Have yourselves a great day. Take care. See you soon.